Join me in creating a nice and simple necklace featuring some tiny seed beads for a nice delicate look. Remember, if you need any supplies, check out the links below to shop with us online. So to begin my Cowrie necklace, it has a very simple start. You're going to thank me for this one. I have on some beige 0.006 wildfire beading thread, and you're going to want about 6 feet of thread for your necklace. I have shorter here just because I am going to add more so that way it can stay in frame better. And I have some 15-0 seed beads in crystal Labrador fool that I'm putting onto my thread and needle here. And I have a size 12 needle that I'm working with. And I'm going to let it drop back down to a stop bead. Next, I'm going to put on one of my 11-0 seed beads, also the Miyuki brand, and I'm working with the Duracoat Opaque Catalina. Next, counting again, lots of countings of 10s. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Drop that down, and once again, add an 11. So you can see where this is going. We're going to make our whole baseline like I did here in the example piece, which has the 15-0s in the champagne and then some Toho almond 11-0s. So we're going to make this the entire length that we want our necklace to be. I'm going to keep mine rather short. I want it for a nice short summer design. So I'm going to string 16 inches of this rotation of 10, 1, 10, 1, 10, 1. Once you get to the end of the length that you desire, and that can be really anything, I'm going to add one more of my 11-0 after my last set of 10. I'm going to grab a wire guard and go up through the wire guard. And I have a ring here because I'm going to do a lobster clasp on the other side. And I'm going to go down through the wire guard on the opposite side, sew through my loop there to attach my other side of my clasp to. And then I'm going to go back through that 11-0 seed bead, and I'm going to go in from basically the opposite direction. So this 11-0 seed bead is going to kind of sit right there in the middle, as you see. I'm going to reinforce that clasp by going through one more time through all of those beads, through that clasp section, up through the wire guard, around the wire guard, through the clasp, back down through the other side of the wire guard, and once again through that 11-0 seed bead. Coming out that 11-0 seed bead then, I'm going to go back down through my necklace here, back to wherever I want to start my drops. So in my example piece here, I did 12 drops towards the center of the piece. And you're going to figure out where you want your drops to hang and where you want them to be. You can hold up your necklace so that it's middle. Get to your middle point there and say, all right, I'm definitely going to do one here in the middle. Then I'll do 2 on the outside, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 if you want to do an odd count. And then you'll know exactly where to bring your needle back to in order to get started with our drops. So I'm taking my thread and needle. This works to reinforce. And I'm going back 8 or so of my 11-0 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 7, 8. And when you come out through, in my case here, this 9th one is where I'm going to get started. I'm there ready to get started with my drop portion. If you only want the drop portion to be towards the very front, again, just count towards the middle and say, all right, here's where I know I want it to start. I want it to start here, and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That might be a little bit more than I want to do, so I'll drop down 2 more and come out this one right here. And then we'll be set and ready to start doing our drops. So I've already added one on here to show you the difference between the design that uses all 15-0s versus one that does a little bit of that turquoise drop at the bottom. I'm coming out through my turquoise colored, that Catalina 11-0, and I've added on to my thread and needle 5 of my 15-0 seed beads. I've gone back through that 11-0, so they circle up right below. I'm going to take my needle and thread back through the first 3 15-0s. And I'm exiting through that third 15-0, or the one that's the odd count right there that's going to connect it all together. I'm using DropDuo beads here, which are a check 2 hold bead, but I'm only actually going to be connecting to one of the holes. So if you have something else that you would want to use, you can totally do that as well too. You're going to pick up 3 seed beads in the 15s, sew through the first hole of your drop. When you're coming out the first hole of your drop, add 3 more seed beads, and then we're going to sew back through that middle bead that our thread is coming out of. So we went through the 3 15-0s. We're going to sew back through that third one again, coming in from the opposite direction, which you can see hangs that little teardrop down. If you don't want to add the seed beads around, you're just going to go back up through those 2, through your 11, and then over onto the next 11. What we're going to do is decorate the bottom with the seed beads. So I'm going to come back down through the first 3 seed beads that sit on the side of the DropDuo. And then after this, I'm going to add 6 of my 15-0s. And then once those are on there, I'm going to add an 11-0. If you don't want the 11-0 at the bottom, just use another 15-0. 6 more 15s go on. And then I'm going to go over to the opposite side of that DropDuo. And I'm using the crystal silver rainbow to make it look a little bit like an abalone look. Sewing up through those 3 beads, and then I'm going to go once again through that middle 15-0 bead from that original group of 5. Give a nice tight pull to get that to be close together, and then once again sew through the 2 right before the 11-0 here at the top, finishing out that little connection part, and on to the next 11-0. As I'm going to the next 11-0, I just take my thread and needle while it's there, the whole way through the 15s, making sure I'm not missing any, and coming out through the next 11. Setting up then to do my next little drop here in my necklace. So it's a very, very delicate look. Again, you can stop with the seed beads at the top. You can add the bottom. You can add the hint of color to the bottom. Completely up to you. You can really make it your own. If you do change it up, make sure to list in the comments of the video, give your feedback, and help others out to show them or to tell them how you switched it up as well. So I'm going to go in and continue to add, again, about 12 of these little drops, making sure that I'm even, so when it's time to stop, I stop because I want them to match in length right there. That's my last one. So I'm going to go in and add all of these little drops to hang to the front of my little delicate necklace. Once you finish off your drops, and I have 10 empty seed beads on either side of my drop, so I ended up with 5, 10, 14 drops is what I ended up with on mine, and I'll hold that up so you can see kind of what that looks like necklace-wise. When you're looking and deciding how many drops do I want, how's it going to hang, here are how those 14 drops are going to hang. So you can see I kind of stopped them right at the collarbone. And from here, what I'm going to do is add my clasp closure. So it's going to be the exact same thing as the opposite side when we added the wire guard and the loop. I'm coming out of my seed beads, and you're just going to take your needle and thread, and once again, this is great because it's reinforcing it, but you want to make sure to take note, both when doing this side as well as the other side, that you don't want to skip any seed beads. Because if you skip some seed beads, you'll be able to see the thread and the bead will stick out a little bit on this side. You'll lose that simplicity of it all in one line. So I'm going the whole way to the end here. And remember, this is our starter side, so we already have some thread on here that we are going to tie onto. And then once you get to the end, we're going to grab our wire guard. We're going to grab one more 11-0 seed bead. We started with the 15s. We're going to end with 111. All right, now that I've gotten to the end here, I'm going to keep the stop bead on for now. Add my 11-0 seed bead. Pick up my wire guard. Sew through the wire guard, down through the other side, and then grab whichever clasp you're adding on. Move that starter thread out of the way, put that clasp into that wire guard, tighten it up, then come into that 11-0 seed bead from the opposite side. So my thread went out to the left right there, I'm going into the right. Once again, we're going to reinforce. And then the nice thing with this on the end is we have our thread already here from our start. And we're just going to tie the ends together. I'm going to make sure as you're doing your thread, make sure that it's staying in that U channel of the wire guard. Go into that end there of my 11, so I've circled up both times. And then once you're done circling up, you're going to come back, remove that stop bead, pull that away, and then we're just going to simply tie those two thread ends together. You can then keep your thread and needle that is already on your thread and needle here and take it back a couple rows of seed beads if you want to. That way you don't have both strands or both threads ending in the same place. Honestly, it's going to be the back of the necklace, so you're really not going to see it at all. So I'm just going to burn them down right there at the end like I did on the previous one as well too. So if you have this and you're going the whole way through, that's great. If not, you're just going to burn down the thread end to finish out your Cowrie necklace. Guys, thanks so much for joining me in creating this Cowrie necklace. Remember, you can do it with a ton of different beads as well, not just the drop duos, so look around your selection and make sure to comment below if you do it with other beads and what the counts would be. Remember, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. I'd hate to have an awesome design that you miss and that you would love to make. Remember also, if you make any changes, like I said, comment below, as well as post your finished products in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making. If you do need any supplies, check out below the video in the description for the links as well as the exact colors that were used in the video as well as the sample. Thanks so much, and on to the next video.